Good day, eh?
And welcome to the... No, we're not going to do the Great White North. This is not the Great White North.
This is Mayberry Memories.
This is, by the way, the third time we've tried to film this today. And
we're outside here at the Gateway Mall in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. There's the doTERRA oils people here in town. I just free plug for you.
They're wandering the mall.
I think it's doTERRA.
Yeah, essential oils.
Essential oils. Doesn't really matter which one.
Right. So I'm Dave. This is Steve.
Yep.
And we are here to talk about Andy freaking Griffith.
And the Andy Griffith
Did I
show.
say Griffith?
I don't know what you said. Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith.
Season 4, episode 18, Prisoner of Love.
Yes. A beguiling young lady comes to the courthouse.
Yes.
Against her will, because she's a prisoner.
She's a prisoner. So she comes in, right? And she has to spend the night, and somebody has to keep an eye on her. Who is that? Who has to do that?
Yeah. Well, neither of them wanted to when they didn't know who was coming in, but...
Right. Well, yeah, because at the beginning of the show, they're talking about their plans for the night. Barney's got big plans.
Delma Lou.
He's going to go home, change clothes, go over to Delma Lou's, and they're going to go watch a show.
Watch a show on TV.
Yep.
They're not even going to go watch a show.
No, they're going to watch a TV show.
Big plans.
Yes.
Says that like 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times.
To the point where Andy can repeat it back to him. And then I love the look on Barney's face like, how'd you know?
Yep. And Andy had some sort of plans. I don't know what they were. He had plans too. So they both were busy. Somebody had to stay and watch this this prisoner that was being brought in.
Right.
Little did they know. She was going to be a beauty.
Yep, she is a beauty. She's
a beauty,
portrayed by actress Susan Oliver, who was in all sorts of television shows in the 50s and 60s, movies as well. So a fairly well-known actress. And
died fairly young.
She did.
58.
Lung cancer?
Lung cancer is what I read. I researched it. She was a smoker her whole life. And,
oh, good gravy.
You know, there's a warning on those packages of cigarettes for a reason.
Yep.
She died of
58 years old is what I saw.
Too young.
Too darn young. Yeah. So anyway, she comes into the courthouse, and both of them are willing to stick around. Barney especially, ready to drop all plans with Delma Lou and hang out with her.
That's right.
And she starts
Delma
to...
who?
Yeah, exactly. She starts to employ her womanly, beguiling ways.
She's very flirty.
Yeah.
And
she had an end goal, right? She has an end goal.
She does have an end goal,
which is
and she wants to get out. She's going to try to get loose.
Yeah.
So, but let's go back a little bit.
Okay,
while she's there, Sheriff Taylor originally was watching. Well, they're both going to watch her, but who shows up? Who shows up unexpected?
Otis Campbell.
Otis Campbell. Of course, Otis is always hilarious, brings a lot of comedy to the show, checking himself in, and someone's in his cell, which that's not unacceptable.
It's a crime!
That is a crime.
A crime has occurred!
But Sheriff Taylor and Barney quickly tell him he cannot stay. They're going to have to take him home to his wife, which he proclaims as police brutality.
Yes. There's another video I did about why all the people are happy at Mayberry, and the premise of that. I think it's actually an internet meme. It's nothing original that I've ever done, which is nobody's married.
That's right.
The only unhappy people are the ones that are married on that show. We can actually say that's not true. We've from personal experience,
we're happily married.
But anyway, getting back to this.
So
Otis is frustrated.
Barney has to take Otis away.
Yeah.
He loses the flip of the coin. Yeah. Wants 2 of 3, and 2 out of 3 flips, and Sheriff Taylor tells him no. So Barney has to take him home, and while Barney's gone, this young gal really starts.
She turns it to 11 with Andy.
Oh yeah. For those that have seen Spinal Tap, she turns it to 11.
Yep. Thank heavens Barney gets back in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time.
Because Andy actually, you can tell he's wavering a little bit to her.
Like Samson.
She's flirty and touchy and talking in that voice, and then you couple that with this episode has a different kind of soundtrack to it. It's almost sensual and sultry.
It is. It's very different than the usual soundtrack.
Yeah. So Barney comes back, though, thank heavens, and Andy realizes it's time to scoot out of there, right?
Yes, he's smart. He decides to head home goes home and sits down, and fairly quickly, I don't know why, but he heads on back. Yeah, the sixth sense, the spidey sense is tingling.
The spidey sense is
and it's
tingling.
a good thing because Barney. Well, what's happened to Barney?
Well, she hasn't used her. I don't know if she really used her womanly ways. I mean, she didn't
Trickery.
need to do. Yeah, she didn't need to use much with Barney. Because he's flabbergasted and nervous and everything around her because of her beauty. And so she has somehow hoodwinked him into the. He's in the cell.
He's in the cell trying to open a case, and she's heading on out.
Yep. But Barney's there, or Andy's there to rein her back in, and I think her phrase is, "Well, you can't blame a girl for trying," or something like that.
Then she says, "Prisoner, sheriff," and he says, "Absolutely."
Yep.
And they walk on back.
Send her back.
Can't blame a girl for trying.
Yep, exactly. So all in all,
well, and then the next day the marshals come together, and she starts her
flirty things
with them.
Yeah.
Great episode.
Great episode. Different episode, right? It's not really
no Opie.
No Opie. A lot of the really, if you think about it,
the regulars aren't in it.
You've got
not regulars.
Andy. I guess there's a brief scene with Aunt B.
Aunt B. Very brief for Aunt B.
It's really Andy, Barney, and this character.
Yes. Yeah, it's a fun episode.
Unnamed character, by the way. I don't.
Right, she's the prisoner. That's all you ever hear.
That's right. I think maybe having a name for her would have done something to. There's mystery about her, right? You just don't know about her background, who she is. You want to kind of think maybe she's okay, but she's not. She's devious, and that's the reason she's a prisoner.
Yeah, that's right. She knows what she's up to.
Exactly. So, all in all, how would you rate this one?
It was a really good episode. I like it. I'd probably give it. Well, on what scale are we using? 1 to 10?
Sure.
I'll give it an 8. It's a good episode.
Yeah, I would say I might even go with 7. I don't know if it was. Almost all Andy Griffith episodes, by the way, get at least a 6 or a 7 from me. We've talked about some of the other episodes. For example, Man in a Hurry that we reviewed in our last podcast. I would rank that one higher than this in terms of the message. This one, I'm not really sure what the message is.
There's no message. It was just fun. This was a fun episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I might like the episodes more where there's this message, and or the episodes where there is just that, where I feel like I'm really taken back to a town like Mayberry. Right, and so in those kind of episodes, you have the cast of characters. You have this broad swath of characters that you meet, whether it's Floyd, the mayor, Gome, or Goob, or any of those characters. This one was, as we've already talked about, was absent of that. It was really just the 3 people, although there were a couple others. But
just the plot of the girl coming in and trying to trick her way out of jail.
Yeah.
But I still had a lot of fun watching it.
Good. I watched it twice, so I must have enjoyed it enough. Right.
That's right.
All right, so speaking of Susan Oliver, I recognized her. I knew I'd seen her somewhere.
You're heading to Star Trek?
I am heading right to Star Trek. She's in a 2-part episode called The Menagerie, which was actually where they took pieces out of the pilot, the original pilot that was never used, called The Cage.
Yes.
And that's where did I see Jeffrey Pike? I think it's Jeffrey Hunter's the actor. Christopher Pike is the captain in The Cage, and then in The Menagerie, if you remember right, Spock he captures Christopher Pike.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's a great episode. You really need to see it. But anyway, these Telosians, they put this beautiful woman in the cage with Captain Pike. And the thing that I remember most about it there's 2 scenes, right? One is it's so memorable because it was always at the end of the credits of Trek, the original Trek, where it says like Delma Lou Studios and who it's made by and all that stuff. You see this green Orion slave woman. That's her. It's a sequence in that episode. And then also, forever in my head is that the way Pike sees this beautiful woman and the way she actually is, hopefully it's not too much of a spoiler to say, they've done some things to make her look younger and more beautiful. But anyway, great stuff. And now you've got me. I've got to go back to Next Generation.
Yeah, there's an episode of Next Generation with an older Pike.
Yes.
Apparently she's in that episode.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay, well then let's do a teaser for our next episode, which is, I believe, should be around Halloween time. In October for sure. Maybe in early.
Weeks.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks away at least. And we're going to review the, I think it's season 3. I want to say season 3, the Haunted House episode. I'm not sure the title of it, but it's the one where Andy and Golem and Barney are in a haunted house.
I'm looking forward to revisiting
that should
episode,
be a good one.
yes.
Yep. So that's it. Tell us what you think about this episode in the comments section. We'd really appreciate it. Love to know if you thought it was one of the greatest or maybe not so much, and why. And while you're at it,
That's right. Thumbs up. And a like.
And if you'd consider subscribing to the channel, that would be highly appreciated. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the
60s and 70s and 80s.
Yes, the best decades of all time.
Yes.
The good stuff. But
all
most
right.
of all,
take off.
Or just thank you very much for watching.
Yes. Have a good one.